Hello everyone, and welcome to the Research Log Assignment Overview video. In this assignment, we are going to be searching for sources to help answer the research question you made in your Developing a Topic assignment. As I've mentioned throughout the course, research is often a cyclical process. So the purpose of the research log is to help you keep track of the searches you've done and the sources you've found so that you can easily go back and decide what to use in your final product. For this assignment, you're going to start by listing your research question and developing keywords to use in your searches. You will then create entries in your research log that note your initial and successful searches and potentially relevant sources that you find. You may find that your first search is really good and yields a lot of good results, but maybe you find that you need to revise. That's why it says initial and revised. You will select the most relevant source from each entry and explain its relevance to your research need. That means even though we're going to find multiple different sources, at the end for each entry, you are going to pick one of each. Your research log will contain 3 entries based on source type: a book or an ebook, a periodical article, and a web page or e-resource. The sources you select as most relevant from each entry will be used in our next assignment to construct a bibliography. This means that you are going in your first entry to keep track of all the searches you do and a few relevant books that you find along the way. You're then going to choose one book or ebook that you're going to use in the next assignment. Same thing for periodical article and web page or e-resource. You're going to start with several different ones and then pick the one that you think is most relevant. As a quick reminder, web pages are single pages of websites. E-resources are sources that are published directly online, such as social media, blogs, infographics, and tutorials. Periodical articles are articles from newspapers, magazines, or scholarly journals. Why am I reminding you of this? Because you can find a lot of different source types in search engines and databases. So you need to keep track of not just what you're searching and where, but what kind of source you're finding along the way. For part 1, you are going to list your research question from the Developing a Topic assignment, identify the keywords from your research question, and then identify any synonyms and related terms, either from the background reading you did for developing a topic or from your current brainstorming. Synonyms are words that mean the same thing as one of your keywords. Related terms are things that are connected to your keywords but aren't exactly the same. Part 2 starts the entries. Note that each part from this point forward is going to be a source type search. So part 2 is keeping track of all your book or ebook searches. It asks you to list both your starting search and then your successful search or searches, depending on how many you have to do. You are then going to note 3 potentially relevant books or ebooks. And the way you're going to do that is by recording a few pieces of their citation and publication information, including the author, the title, the call number if it's a physical book in the library, or the permalink if it's an ebook, and the subject terms. You're going to do that for 3. Once you have your 3 books or ebooks, you are going to select one that you think is the most relevant to include in your bibliography. And you're going to explain why you have selected it. The explanation should discuss how you determine the relevance of your source and how the source helps answer part of your research question. It's okay if a source does not answer your total research question. It's very common that you need to combine multiple sources to fully answer it. Be sure to fully explain your reasoning and support your statements with evidence from the source, meaning the ebook or book, and its record, such as the summary or contents fields. For part 3, you're going to do the same thing, but now we're looking for periodical articles. Again, you're going to put your starting search and your successful search or searches. And then you're going to note 3 potentially relevant periodical articles. There's a few more pieces here because remember, when we're looking up a periodical article, We need both the article title and the periodical title in order to cite it. So for each of 3 relevant looking periodical articles, you will list the author, the article title, the periodical title, the permalink if you find it in one of our databases, or the URL if you find it from a search engine, and then the subject terms. Note that if you are using a periodical article that you found from Google, it won't have subject terms. In that situation, you would put none listed because this is from a search engine. Once you have 3 relevant periodical articles, select the one that you think is best and most relevant for your bibliography. Explain why. Just like with the book or ebook, you have to discuss both how you determine the relevance of your source and how the source helps answer part of your research question. For part 4, we're going to look at web page or e-resource searches. List your starting search and your successful search, then 3 potentially relevant web pages or e-resources. Here, I have the author, if one is given. If one is not given, simply put none available. Web page title, website title, type of source. For example, if you know you have found a blog, if you know you have found a government web page, a professional organization web page, list what type of source it is. And then put the complete URL. Just like with the other 2 sections, you're going to do that for 3 total sources of this type. Then you're going to select the one that you think is the most relevant and explain how you determined its relevance and how the source helps answer part of your research question. This does have a lot of parts, and that's why this assignment is worth 10 points instead of the usual 5. If you have trouble at any point in finding a particular type of source or its information, such as periodical title or type of source, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will be more than happy to work through this with you. Thank you.